Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, which is midday in Australia, or 1 AM if you're in the UK. As always, if you miss the live streams, you can watch them at any time by clicking the videos tab at the top of my Twitch page. I hope all you guys and girls are well. Legmog says, I really feel like Phil is spending far too much time on this house and nowhere near enough time on the bird. What kind of bird simulator game is this? Oh. Well, you will all know that I have removed the bird from the game. Initially, when I did the cinematic, I had that eagle at the beginning, but the eagle is gone. The eagle is dead. There is no eagle in the game anymore. I did briefly think about putting, there is going to be a bird cage in the building, but there won't be a bird in the bird cage, I'm afraid. I thought about putting a dead bird in the bird cage, but then I thought, no, there'll be no bird, but there will be a bird cage. And Smurfberry Barbecue, it's good to see you as well. Smurf says, no, I'm not well. I just found out that Blender doesn't have manual object reordering in the outliner. I'm not well at all. So Blender doesn't have manual object reordering in the outliner. Why? Why, Smurfberry? Why? Why does Blender not have that? I'm not surprised you're not well. Legmark says, a bird simulator with no bird. Man, someone's made a massive oversight with this one. That's right. Our bird simulator game will have no birds. So, there you go. Smurf says, Flip saws a table. Smurfberry is having a meltdown. Smurfberry is having a meltdown because of Blender. Smurfberry says, because they're insane in all capitals. I'm surprised actually, Smurfberry, you can't reorder. That does seem like a bit of an oversight. They should maybe look at that. Legmog says, what can I say, Smurf? You get what you pay for. And again, Legmog says that because Blender is completely free. So you can't really complain about something you don't pay for. Having said that, Blender is a good 3D program. Smurf just doesn't do everything Smurfberry wants. But that does seem like a bit of an oversight, I have to admit, Smurf. There's always something with you and Blender, Smurfberry. Always something. Wow. Just grin and bear it. I use 3D Studio Max. For anyone that doesn't know my channel, do not play favorites with any 3D software. They're all very good. They all get the job done eventually. Maybe some take a bit longer than others, but they all get you there in the end. That's the important thing. And if you're not paying for something, then that's even better. But do remember, if you do want to use Max or Maya or any of the Autodesk or most of the Autodesk software, you can get a free 3-year license from Autodesk if you're a student or a teacher. You just need a student email and they'll give you 3 years for free. Free! We are working on the House on the Hollow game though, which you can purchase now. Well, you can't purchase, which you can wishlist now on Steam. Just click the graphic in my panel below my stream if you want to check it out on the Steam store. We're working on the master bedroom for that game in Unreal Engine 4, so, which is also free to use, by the way. You only pay commission to Epic after $3,000 in sales. And then it's, I believe, a 5% commission. Smurfberry says you can drag and drop to reorder collections. They literally have drag to reorder code already written. They've just not allowed you to do it with your meshes. So you can reorder your collections. They've got the code to do reordering obviously written, but they won't let you do it with your meshes. Well, that's stupid. I'm sorry, but that seems really like a bit of a major oversight there. Well, if the code is already done, then why can't they implement it? That seems silly. I agree, Smurfberry. That would frustrate me as well. But you're not paying for it, so as Legmog says, you can't really complain. So yes, we are working in the Unreal Engine 4. We're working on the master bedroom here. Yesterday we got the floor in, we got the wall panels in, we got some of the archways in. So we're going to continue doing that. And again, we're looking at Unreal here in unlit mode, because if I turn lit mode on, you're not going to see anything because there really aren't enough lights in this room yet, and we can't work in the dark. So until we get some lights going, we're going to work in unlit mode. Unlit's probably better anyway. You can see things much more easily. So, Legmog says, I remember when I was a lecturer teaching Cinema 4D, so often I got asked, why even bother using Cinema 4D when I Googled and saw everyone uses Max and Maya? And at the time I had no good answer, so I made a perfectly innocent query on an internet forum entitled Why Use Cinema 4D When Max Maya Dominate the Industry? And oh my god, the discussion turned very toxic very fast. Oh, look, you don't have to tell me, Legmog. I've seen the way that fanboys get with their software and their hardware. It's just silly. I mean, come on. It's software or it's hardware. Being a fanboy about anything is just silly. It's silly. You know, I know you're passionate, you love your whatever it is, whether it's your software or your hardware, but come on. You know, gets you nowhere. But I can understand how people would turn toxic because I've seen it myself, Legmog. The argument between Max and Maya, I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of years ago on the forums, there was this huge debate about whether Autodesk would kill Max or kill Maya because they both do the same thing and they're both owned by the same company. Now, like Autodesk do have a history of killing off software. As you guys that used to use, what was it called? Yeah, I can't even remember the name of the software now. It was a 3D program. I don't know. It was a really well-known Softimage, that was it. They killed that off when Autodesk bought it. So people were talking, oh, they're going to kill Max, they're going to kill Maya, or Maya is better, they should keep Maya and kill Max, or Max is better, and blah, 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 blah. Autodesk didn't kill either of them. They still fully developed both of them. So, and it's pointless. Cinema 4D, I used to use Cinema 4D. Before I was a regular Max guy, I was using Cinema 4D. It's a very good program. And this was years ago. It was good years ago. So I can only imagine it's improved quite a lot. Just like they all have. Legmog says, people are very precious about these apps. I know, and I don't get it. I mean, come on. Grow up. Grow up. It's software. You use what you like the most. That's basically what it boils down to. You don't use what's popular or what your friend tells you to use. You use what you like. They all have slightly different interfaces, and some people prefer one over the other. That's basically how I make my choices on software. If I like the interface, I'll use the software. If I don't like the interface, I generally won't use the software. ZBrush. So yeah, you just use whatever you like, whatever works for you, and whatever you can afford, of course, as well. So, and Smedberry says, I'm writing up mini rep RFQ for a programmer to write a pre-selection highlight add-on in Python for Blender. I hope $100 is enough to entice someone. So you want them to write? What do you want them to write? RFQ for a programmer to a pre-selection highlight add-on. Oh, okay. I reckon $100 should be enough, Smurf, for a Python script. Shouldn't be incredibly difficult to write. So I think you should get a few nibbles at $100, $100 US bucks. Smurf says, rest in peace, Softimage. That's right, or Softimage. Everyone pronounces it differently, like Wacom and Wacom. I mean, the tablet that is. Wacom tablet, Wacom tablet. I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced Wacom, but I generally pronounce it Wacom. Legmog says, one guy in particular was very angry at me. You're doing a huge injustice to your students by limiting yourself only to Cinema 4D and not teaching your students other software. You clearly have a cognitive-based bias, and furthermore, you are clearly just trying to stir people up to anger and cause arguments here. This was like one of the first responses. I go, well, this guy sounds like he's overreacting, I think, a bit. And look, you can't teach software to people. You can't teach software that you don't use because you're not going to be any good at it because you're not familiar enough with it. So I think the argument that, you're only teaching Cinema 4D because you're a Cinema 4D user and you're not teaching Maya or Max because you don't use Maya or Max, is just a stupid argument. I mean, sorry. This person that was arguing the point with you just sounds like an idiot. You don't teach software you don't use. It's just, there's no, if you know it and you use, and if you know it just as well as your main piece of 3D software, well then fine. But if your main game is not the software that you're being told to teach, then you shouldn't be teaching it, really. So I think he's being an idiot, Ladybug. Smurfberry says, I'm not against paying. The problem is that Autodesk have gone the totalitarian route of subscription only, but they're all doing that. Adobe are doing it. Now that Substance is owned by Adobe, Substance does it. They all do the subscription stuff, and I agree. I hate the subscription model. You never own the software. The minute you stop paying a subscription, the software won't work, or you can't use it. I hate it. I hate it. I'd much rather pay up front, even though it costs a bit more, and own the software for life. If you never need to update it, then you never have to, and you never have to spend another penny. This subscription business came about with like cloud computing and all that jazz, and it's just a way for these companies to milk their customers every month, basically. Look, it can be beneficial for a large company. They can get a subscription model. They don't have to buy individual licensed seats for all of their employees. So for some businesses, it works out well. But if you're an indie, or if you're just a hobbyist or anything like that, then it works out incredibly expensive. So I don't like it. I've been against it, and I'm going to stay against it. Legmog says, I thought, good Lord, this guy went totally ham on me. I reported him to the mods. This was on CG Society, as I steer clear of CG Society. There are quite a few drop kicks on that site. All professional CG artists on there. I've always remembered that dude and have internally blacklisted him. Yeah, just because there's a lot of... Like, I'm not suggesting everyone on CG Society is a dropkick. They're not. But just because they're a professional doesn't mean they can't be a bit of an idiot. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So I'm not knocking CG Society, all the people that go there and use it. I think there are a lot of incredibly talented people that show their work there, for sure. But, you know, you get a mix of good and bad everywhere, I guess. Smurfberry says it's pronounced Wacom. I think he means Wacom. And I will die on this hill. Yes. No, he says it's pronounced Wacom, but I say Wacom. Even though in this country there's a prison called the Wacom Prison. I think that's maybe why I get the word Wacom from, not Wacom. I'm pretty sure Wacom even say Wacom. I don't say Wacom. But I'll call it Wacom until the day I die. Legmog says exactly. He was obviously unaware of the shoestring budgets. Well, that's true. Lots of art departments have. Getting licenses for all the software was way out of budget. Well, that's true too. Although a lot of companies do offer schools discounts, or if you're a student, you can get a discount too. But you're right. A lot of teaching places can't afford every piece of software. I mean, they just can't do it because they do work on a shoestring budget. So, and I've said to you guys before, you're better off learning one piece of 3D software really well than trying to spread yourself between 3 different programs and don't really learn any of them properly. That's my advice to people, is pick one, learn it really well. Once you've learned it really well, then start learning another one if you want. But don't try and do them all at the same time. You're never going to get good at one doing it that way. Smurfberry says, yes, Phil, that's the point. They're all forcing subscriptions without also simultaneously offering perpetual licenses. There's nothing wrong with having both license types available at the same time, except they won't make as much money. That's why they don't do it. The people who want to pay for a sub will, and the people who want perpetual will do that. That's true, and I agree 100% with you, Smurfberry. There's no reason they couldn't do both. But they won't, because they make more money from subscription, because you and I and everybody else on the planet that needs the software or wants to use it will pay more for it. That's what they're all about. They're all about the money. But I agree. They should be able to do both. Smurfberry says, I cancelled my Substance subscription yesterday and converted to a perpetual license since I was eligible. Way to go. That's the way to do it. Now that Adobe, of course, owns Substance, not Algorithmic anymore, it's all subscription. But do what Smurfberry did. Convert to a perpetual license before they close that off as well, which they will do. because they want that subscription money, that sweet, sweet sub money. Legmog says, what do you mean, a dropkick? Tell me your juicy goss about... No. Look, I've not had a bad experience with CG Society. I haven't. But I've read the forums. I don't go there anymore because I got sick of how toxic some of the forums could get. That's basically what I'm saying. So no, I've not had a bad experience with them personally, but I don't visit CG Society anymore because of the toxic people in forums. Anyway. That's it. No, there's no juicy goss, I'm afraid, Legmog. No juicy goss. Alright, so let us start putting some bits and pieces in this room. So Bill can't talk. We are... let's work on this bay window here. So let's jump back to the other side so I can make a copy of the bay window. Now, I'm not going to be placing this little stair here in the bay window on the other side because it's not going to fit. We're going to put a four-poster bed in that room, and the room is more narrow than this one to begin with. So the little stair thingy here won't go in the bedroom, and we do want it to look a little different as well. So first things first, so let's take this. Let me just check if I have one on. I do have one on this side as well. So let's duplicate these. Again, I've just got to make sure that I don't have these instants anywhere else in the building because I don't want to copy 10 copies of it. No, I think I'm okay. I didn't do an instance on these yet. Let's duplicate them. Because, yeah, some of the objects in the building here have been hardware instanced. Which means I can't copy and paste them. I've got to replace them in the other room. Legmug says, yeah, I feel ya. This was one of those classic internet forum cases where this dude going total ham on me. It was a super regular poster of like 10 plus years with bajillions of posts, whereas I was just a little fish. So often those kind of people feel like it gives them a free pass to act like that. That's true. And the other thing I've noticed too is people that have been on a forum for a long time, people will take sides in a forum and they're more inclined to take the side of this person that's been on the forum for like 10 plus years, as you say, whether he's right or not. That's just the way people are. You can find that on Twitch as well with some of your viewers. Not our channel, of course, because all my viewers are wonderful, lovely. But some Twitch channels, if somebody pops into their chat and they ask a question that, I don't know, maybe the streamer considers to be insulting or irrelevant or annoying, you're going to get people piling on to this one poor person. The poor person might not have meant any harm, but it's just that Lord of the Flies thing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that story, Lord of the Flies, or the movie, if you watch the movie. It's the same sort of thing. It's that tribal thing, which is just silly. And they're generally young people that behave that way because they don't know any better. At least that's the excuse I'm going to use. They don't know any better. But they should. Legmog says, yeah, this dude was really crossing the line with some insults. I reported him to the mods, but I honestly don't imagine I did anything. It did anything? Oh, probably not. He's probably all mates with them. Yeah, probably. Legmog says, this dude looked like a dude in his 40s. Yeah, well, I'm not saying that just because they're young they're like that. There are old ones like that as well, Legmog. Don't worry. I've certainly come across a few of all ages behaving badly. Yes, no, I'm not playing favourites with ages here. They can all behave badly. Young and old. Let me get in here so I can see if I'm lining things up correctly. Might have gone a bit too far. Let's take it back just a little bit. I see. Okay. We've got a couple of options here. We can either stretch this slightly to fill that bit of a gap, or we can take one of the plain wood panels we've got here to fill the gap. Just trying to work out what might be better. Android Lust, it's good to see you, Android Lust. How are you? How's your internet holding up, by the way? Android Lust has been having some problems watching Twitch with his internet, which I can relate to because my internet was quite potato for a while as well. Mr. Squarepeg, it's good to see you too, Mr. Squarepeg. How are you guys going? You're doing good. Good to hear. And like I said, Android Lust, I hope your internet's holding up. Maybe I've dropped out and that's why he's not answering me. But it's good to see you guys. I'm just going to jump back over to the other side because I want to check again. See, this one, it's actually right up against the pillar. We're not making the other room identical to this one anyway. So we don't necessarily need to bring it over, but actually I'm thinking let's leave it like this just for now. We can always come back and adjust it in a minute. So we need to grab the actual seat part here and make a duplicate of that, making sure I don't have any other copies anywhere. No, good. It's not an instance. I should actually just look here. It's easy to tell here. If it's an instance mesh, it will look like this. So all of these are instances, hardware instances. So that's a quick way to tell actually if it's an instance or not. So let's duplicate it. And let's take it over to the other side. Let's rotate it 180 degrees because it's facing the wrong way. Let's move it into the bay window. Android Lust says, but yeah, it still drops out. My internet? Oh no. Have you thought about trying to change providers or something, Android Lust? Maybe another provider might be better. Again, I don't know how many providers you've got access to and all that sort of jazz. Or maybe you just get a really good deal from whoever you're using at the moment. That could be the reason you're sticking with them. But my internet, I mean, yeah, you guys know I'm in Australia and the government have recently rolled out what they call the National Broadband Network. But prior to that, we had really bad ADSL internet across the country and ADSL too. And it was really flaky and really terrible. Thankfully, the new NBN network is not too bad. It's pretty good. Okay, let's just leave that for the moment and move back. And I want to grab the interior here. Again, not an instance, which is good. Android Lust says, the city I live in, well, I live outside the city, so only one provider is available. Well, yeah, that makes things hard. I guess not much you can do about it if your only choice is one provider. Not living in the inner city, I guess that's always a problem. Or in the city. You just got to grin and bear it. But like I said, I can relate. I do feel for you because I had to put up with really bad internet myself for a very long time. until this broadband network was rolled out. And even then, it took the government I think it took them 3 years before they got to my place after they started the rollout of this new network. So I still had to put up with it. Half of the city, half of the country was getting these wonderful speeds on the broadband network, and I was still sitting on dial-up, which was crappy. Well, it wasn't dial-up, but ADSL. You know what I mean. No, this is very interesting. It sort of looks to me like I'm just doing a straight copy from one side of the building to the other on the same level. But it doesn't look like, it looks like almost like this side of the room is lower than the other. Now, it's not, because I remember making when I made, or is it? No, it's not, because I remember modelling the building and it's identical. So I don't know why. It looks as though, actually, I wonder if why it looks as though one side is actually lower. It's just bizarre, unless it's just got something to do with me doing a rotation on the mesh, which is possible. What is that? What is that? Let me jump back over here and have a look. It looks like I may have a polygon in a spot that shouldn't be there. Android Lost says it's 2020 and some people still have trash internet. It's criminal. I agree, because the internet is what I think of the internet now as an essential service, like the electricity or the gas or the water. So it's an essential service. So I agree, Android Lost. I think it's terrible. It's one of those things now that's just essential. You can't get by without decent internet in this day and age because you use it for everything. At least I do. So I agree, I think it's terrible. Right, I think what's going on here is doing a rotation is actually just reversing the direction it should be in. So what I'm going to have to do is do a transform. I think it's the Y. I always get the X and the Y mixed up in these programs. Some 3D artists say, can't even get his X and Y right. Is that correct or am I wrong? Android Lost says, what are you doing to the building? I'm watching it on my phone and using the PC to type. I think Unreal's X and Y switch compared to Maya and possibly Max. You might be right. I always get them confused when I'm working in Unreal. I'm working on the bay window for the master bedroom, Android Lost. And I'm trying to get this piece to fit into the cavity here correctly. And I've also noticed we have this polygon here. It really shouldn't be there. I've got a couple of options with that. We're going to see if we can cover it up. If I can't cover it up, I'll have to jump into Max and remove it and re-export the asset and re-import it back into Unreal. But at this stage, I'm just trying to get this piece lined up correctly for the wall. Sort of wondering now whether flipping it was the right way to go. Yeah, no, I think it was the right way to go. looking at that. Well, maybe not. Let's pull this back. Pull it forward so I can get an idea of what's going on here. So yeah, basically I have this piece that fits inside the bay window that's been textured up with like a, hard to tell in unlit mode, but it's like a plaster, a damaged plaster that I'm needing to fit inside of the bay window. I'm just having a bit of an issue getting it to line up. We'll make it work, don't worry, we will make it work. As soon as I get it lined up correctly. Mr. Squarepeg says Blender conference is going to be in LA this year. Wow, which is big. Epic Games is sponsoring the LA Blender conference. Well, there you go. I didn't know Epic Games were doing that. I know that Epic gave them like $1 million recently, the Blender Foundation, to continue development of Blender, which is cool. Andrew Loss says that sounds crazy. It does. It sounds like it'll be a good. Well, there you go, Mr. Squarepeg. Sorry, Mr. Squarepeg, unless you're a sub to the channel, you can't post links. Nightbot, that's right. Let me do it for you. That's... Well, let's do that again. That's the link that Mr. Squarepeg posted. I'm assuming it was removed. I can see it because I'm a moderator to my own channel, and probably Smurfer and other mods can see it as well. But that's the link that Mr. Squarepeg posted that Nightbot timed him out for. Sorry about that, Mr. Squarepeg. Only subs can post in my Twitch chat. Everyone can post on the Discord though. So, Android Lust says, so bad I don't live in LA or anywhere close. No problem, Mr. Squarepeg. So you check that link out for the conference, this Blender conference sponsored by Epic. It sounds really cool in LA. If you're anywhere near LA and you're thinking about going, if I wasn't all the way on the other side of the planet, I would certainly go. Mr. Squarepeg says, cannot wait for Animation 2020. So many conferences. You guys in the US, that's all you ever do. You just have conference after conference. Not that that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying. So what we need to do here, I think, is we need to just make some small adjustments to these window frames. So I'm just pulling them forward a little bit more so that we can fit them in our plaster. Smurper says conferences are like plastic surgery. There's such a thing as too much. Well, there's just so many in the US. I'm constantly hearing about some conference or the other that's going on in some city in the United States. They're always doing conferences, which I said, like, it's not a bad thing. I'm not knocking it. Nothing wrong with a conference. Mr. Squarepeg says it is a project for Blender that modernizes Blender's animation and rigging toolset. Oh, okay. So Animation 2020, I'm assuming, is what you're referring to, Mr. Squarepeg, a project for Blender that modernizes Blender's animation and rigging toolset. Smurper says this is the first US Blender conference, right? Just got announced a few days ago. And Mr. Square Peg says, yep. Oh, let's just undo that. I did not mean to move that. Let's have a look at this one now. They're a bit fiddly to move these windows because you can see the axis is not, because the window's not on a direct angle. It's on this weird sort of angle, so the axes are a little off. It makes it a little fiddly for me to move it around. Not impossible, just a bit more fiddly. Let me jump outside and make sure I haven't messed up my windows here. No, that's fine. Oh, really? Really? Sniper Girl, it's good to see you, Sniper Girl. How are you? Sniper Girl has moved cities recently. She had a new job in a game studio. It's good to see you though, Sniper Girl. She says, greetings from my new place. Got the cables in today from my parents. Way to go. Yeah, I'm doing really well. How are you doing? Are you still enjoying the new job? I'm assuming you are. Congrats on getting into a new place. It's always I hate moving so much. One of the things I detest doing. I hate moving. But once you're settled in, it's nice. What a surprise, as Android Lust says. Sniper Girl says, I'm doing so freaking good now. Feels wonderful having a computer up and running. No issues or any. Oh man, I don't know how you went as long as you did without a PC, Sniper Girl. It would drive me nuts. I love my PC way too much. If I couldn't use my computer it's been like at least a month, hasn't it? I could not, I'd be climbing the walls. I would climb the walls if I could not use my computer for that long. Literally, climb the walls. Let's just undo Sniper Girl says, yeah, love the job. Still need to get a computer chair and a mouse pad. Got a temp chair. Well, as long as you gets the job done, doesn't matter how you're doing it. I mean, I've used PCs sitting on the ground before. You know, no chair or desk. Just put your PC on the ground and off you go. Maybe just put a cushion down so it doesn't feel so hard on your bottom on the floor. I'll just undo that rotation. Sniper Girl says, a month, close to 3. Oh, really? Has it been 3 months? Has it been that long? Oh man, I tell you, the older you get, the quicker time goes. I did not think it had been that long. 3 months, are you serious? Wow. Wow. Time flies, as Android Lust says. Sniper Girl says, started in November, week prior to Thanksgiving, and yes, it was torture lived at work. Wow, I did not think it had been that long. So, wow, it started in November, and geez. Well, I'm glad you're still enjoying it, and everything is going well, and I'm happy to hear that you've got into your new place, and I'm hoping everything is going well with your dad, because I see that you did post in the Discord that he was having some problems with his health. So I hope he's doing well as well. Just one more stressful thing I guess you had to deal with as well as the move. It's always terrible when family and loved ones aren't doing aren't well, when they're not well. My friend is doing well too, by the way, the one that had the major operation that I told you guys about last year, the end of last year. Sniper Girl says he's fine, ended up getting a stent put in to clear the blockage. Yeah, I know all about the stent stuff, which is good because it's not as rigorous as like open heart surgery sort of thing. Getting a stent, they just put it through a hole and feed it to your heart, drop the stent in, which opens up and clears your blockage. it's the recovery is quicker. It's not as dangerous, all that sort of stuff. But still, it's there are dangers with anything that gets put inside your body. So, but I'm glad that he's doing well. Sniper Girl says that's good. Glad he's here. My friend is doing well as well. Yeah. So yes, no, I'm glad your dad is doing well too. So we have this polygon here, which I'm going to see if I can actually hide. If I can't hide it, then I'll have to jump into Max. It's just my bad. When I imported the model here, I must have forgot to remove this poly. The player is never going to actually be able to get up in here anyway, so this is more just for visual, just for the visual look. Hambone, good to see you, Hambone. Hope you're well. Hambone was here yesterday as well. And Hambone's going to be making a game that he's going to be releasing on the Google Play Store, so keep us all updated on that game, Hambone. Sniper Girl says, got a text message saying that it went well. Andrew Dust says, WTF is my spelling. Let's jump back over here and let's grab these cushions now. Again, they're not instances, so that's good. We can just do a straight copy. Just wondering if I'd made the same mistake here and I hit it as well. No, it doesn't look like it looks like I did remove the poly from this side. Let's do a duplicate. We will, of course, be making all of these cushions instances before the game is released, but at this stage I want to keep them separate, just in case I want to turn any into interactable objects that the player can pick up and inspect for clues and stuff. So until I decide whether I'm going to be doing that, I'm keeping them all separate. Just to stop you guys in your tracks from saying, why has Phil got all those things as separate cushions? What a waste. Oops. I'm always hitting the wrong axes here. Here we go. That's the one I want. And again, I'm doing this to save me time so I don't have to replace all of these cushions in the right order sort of thing, to make them look pretty. If I can just copy and paste them. Smurfberry says spellings for suckers. Hambone says double feature. Sniper Girl says who the hell cares about spelling? Yeah, that's right, I get the gist of what you guys mean. I read it out anyway, so even if you misspell it, then I'll usually try and pronounce it correctly, but probably not always. When I reread it. Andrew Lost says to Sniper Girl, it sounds like your dad didn't want you to worry. Well, that's true, he might not have. I know that friend of mine who had the serious operation, his parents are still alive, and he didn't even tell them that he was going to have this operation. I mean, I suggested that he should, because they're his parents and they deserve to know. But it wasn't my call to make, it was his, and he never told them. And he has still not told them, even after the operation. And it was a serious operation. So, there you go. Sniper Girl says to Android Lost, didn't want me to go there for surgery. They're an hour from me currently and would have requested I would have had to request time off. Hambone says, random question. I was thinking about this earlier. How would one make a saw blade in 3D modeling software? Why, just a normal saw blade. Start with a plane. This is what I'd do. I'd start with a plane, go into vertex mode, select every second vertex along the base, and I'd move them up. Select every vertex between the second one, and make sure you can either do a scale to a point, or you probably don't even need to go to a point, because if you're doing every third vertex, and you move them up, then you're going to get a saw blade point that way. So yeah, it shouldn't be hard. Sniper Girl says the place is looking amazing. I'm sure it is. Hambone says, just any software I'm using, I'm sure it would be similar. Sniper Girl says, you're getting close up to the saw blade and it's a round one or what? Android Lost says, that's crazy, but a way I can understand why he didn't tell. Like, he said his parents are old, and they are. Like, they're quite elderly. They're in their, like, 70s and 80s, his parents. And that's why he didn't. He said that he didn't want to worry them unnecessarily because they're elderly, which I get. I get that. Look, it's his choice to make whether he tells people or not mine. You guys know I don't generally like talking about other people's health problems because it's a personal issue for them. And yeah, it was his call to make, not mine, whether he told his parents or not. And he didn't ever tell them. He didn't tell them. So they still don't know. But anyway, he's fine now, so I guess that's all that matters. Smurfberry says, what type of saw blade? Straight or circular? Hambone says, circular. Hambone says, okay, that makes sense. Android Lust says to the Hambone, would the saw blade need to be as accurate as possible? Again, yeah, I'm not sure what 3D software you're using, Hambone, but I would still, generally if I was doing it in Max, I'd start with a plane. I'd like select every third vertex along the bottom and I'd move those vertices up. That'll give you your saw points. And then if it's a curved one, I'd throw a bend modifier on top of the plane to actually get it to bend in whatever direction you're wanting. That's probably how I tackle it in Max. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you probably a similar sort of thing in any 3D software, really. Wow, I always do that. I mean to move the camera and I end up moving the actual object. I don't know why. It only happens in Unreal. It seems if you're too close to the object and you try and move the camera, it thinks you're trying to move the axes. So you got to make sure your mouse pointer is nowhere near the axes before you move the camera. You guys have seen how often I do it. I do it all the time. And we're going to have to just do some rearranging here on some of these cushions. But you can see with our cushions in place, we have hidden that polygon, so I'm not going to remove it. It's only two triangles. It's not like it's causing. It's not like it's a 10,000 poly object that's useless in the game. It's only two triangles. It's not going to cause an issue. It doesn't need to be removed if it's not going to be seen. If it was a 10,000 triangle object, I would, but two tries, no, we'll be fine. Hambone says, no, not at all. To Android Lust question about the saw blade need to be as accurate as possible, just basic material, pay you $5 to make me. Android Lust says, no, you make it, Hambone. Come on, I want you guys to do 3D. Don't go paying other people to do it for you. Do it yourself. There's a Discord server, Hambone. If you get stuck, jump on Discord. We can talk you through it. But we want you to do it. You guys do 3D, it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. Smurfberry says there are a few ways to do it. You could start with a skinny cylinder. Yep, grab the loop and faces around the rim and extrude them. Most software can do individual face extrusion all at once and scale them down to make a point. Just do that once or twice or thrice and you have the teeth to curve. Android Lust says, yep, that's how I do it. The Hambone says, right, there are a couple of options there, try them. And if you get stuck, Hambone, jump on the Discord server or ask a question of me while I'm streaming. Or me or all the other guys and girls, of course, not just me. They all know their stuff. I'm just going to do some... another update. Look, Macrium Reflect wants to update. This is the third update in like 4 days. I don't know what that company are doing, but it's getting incredibly annoying. Oh man, really annoying. I hate software that updates constantly. It really starts to annoy me. Sniper Girl says, I do 3D for a living. If I do anything 3D at home, it's personal projects. That's fair enough. To Smurfberry, that's the method I tend to do for saw blades. Android Lust says to the Hambone, what software? Hambone says, maybe one day I will be a 3D pro. Well, you're not going to, practice makes perfect, and Hambone uses Blender. Mercury says, I'm ignoring the Macrium updates. Oh, it's so annoying. I mean, I love the software, but man, the last 4 days, it's been like 3 updates to that. I don't know what's going on at Macrium, why they're pushing out so many updates. I mean, I read the update notes when they do an update. If you're going to do an update, Macrium, please don't do like 3 and 4 days. Just wait 4 days and do one big update. I have a feeling they're doing these updates because other updates have broken things and they have to update it again, like Microsoft with Windows 10. They release an update that breaks something and they have to release another update to fix the thing they broke. Anyway. Hambone says, I need a refresher first. Gonna watch some tutorials later. Yep, jump on YouTube. Heaps of tutorials on YouTube. Android Lost says, Blender can do it fills and Smurfs way. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm not sure any software could. Couldn't, I'm assuming. Smurfberry says, I'm concerned that Sniper Girl is making so many saw blades that she already has chosen a technique. She's just beavering away making saw blades all day long. Now, I just need to reposition some of these cushions. Like this one that's actually going through the curtain there, we don't want that. And what I might actually do here is I might just rearrange them a little bit as well so they don't look completely identical to the other side. So just so we got a bit of variation. Less likely for people to notice that we've copied and pasted. I could even swap out the material, but I'm not going to go that far. People probably won't. The material should match anyway because of the curtains. So, but I will just rearrange the cushions a little bit. Let's move you over a little bit. Move you back a little bit. And move you down a little bit. Maybe just rotate you a little bit. Might rotate you a little bit as well. And move you over. Let's also rotate this one here. That should be good. Alrighty. Sniper Girl says to Smurfberry, love the band, had saw blades on the rim. The band had saw blades on the rim. Okay, it did too, didn't it? And the band that she's talking about, if you want to see it, jump on the Discord server and look in the gallery. You can get a link to join the Discord server. Just click the blue graphic in my panels below my stream. It says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. You can get an invite link that way. Hambone says, going to jump off for a bit. No problem, Hambone. Sniper Girl says, granted, was a portfolio piece, would honestly model and bake the detail down to a plane with an alpha if I was doing it in game ready. Android Lost says, laters, ham. Sniper Girl says, okay, was good to see. Was good to see you, Hambone. Hambone says, thanks, you're all looking hot. There you go. Hambone, how do you know? What are you... it's good to see you there, Hambone. Don't be a stranger. I'll be back live again next week on Monday. Smurfberry says to Sniper Girl, yeah, my initial urge was to make a cheeky answer, how to make a saw blade, put an alpha texture on a single quad. That'll work. That will work. Android Lust says, I was thinking the same, Smurfberry. Look, yeah, no, look, but if you need a really low poly model, that's probably the best way to go, to be honest. We can joke and we can laugh about it, but if you want really, really low poly, maybe, you know, if you're doing a mobile game, maybe, yep. And I think Hambone is doing mobile, so an alpha map on a plane will work as well. Android Lust says it depends on what it's used for. It does. It depends, yeah, it depends on how it's being used in the game as well. Like, it's just going to be hanging on the wall in the background in like a tool shed sort of thing, then use an alpha map. That'll get the job done, really low poly. If it's never going to be picked up and inspected or used. Sniper Girl says back. Okay, so let's find, we need a piece for underneath of here, so let's see if we can make this piece fit. If we can't, then I have a couple of other plain pieces we can put in its place. Must turn angle snap back on. Okay. What's the best way to do this gonna be? Let's just move it over so it's where it should be there. Yeah, maybe we can get two of these in, maybe. That's too high though, so I'm just worried if we squish it too much it might look a bit odd, but if we're careful it might be okay. If we're real careful. I think the seat might need to be brought forward. Maybe not. Let's duplicate this piece. And position it. Let's scale these pieces. Snappy Girl says, heard everything. Wireless headset. Was fixing a TV dinner. Was on sale and money was tight due to furniture. Can't wait to get some groceries, real food and not frozen stuff. Look, nothing wrong with a TV dinner. Particularly those times where you just don't feel like cooking. And believe me, even as an ex-chef, there are times where I really don't feel like cooking anything. So having one of those instant dinners, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Okay. So the only reason I was a bit iffy here was because if we look at these panels, we can see that they're actually the diamond is meant to be much more elongated than what we're seeing here. But I don't think as the player you're really going to notice the difference between them, particularly once the lighting is going. Unless you're incredibly observant, you're not really going to notice that the diamond here is a different shape slightly than this one. That this one's a bit more diamondy and this one's a bit more squat. So we probably can get away with it. So what sort of TV dinner is it? Just like some vegetables sort of one, or with some meat maybe? Android Lust says dinner. Totally forgot about that. I haven't had lunch yet. I have lunch after the stream. So I have like a late afternoon lunch because I wait till after I finish streaming when I stream to you guys. Sniper Girl says, really Android? Lost? You sound like me. And Sniper Girl says, got my dishes over the weekend. Been 3 months of frozen, minus the rare occasion when I went out. So yeah, can't wait for real food. Yeah. It's nice to be able to cook. Look, I don't always want to cook, but when I do, it's nice to be able to do it. So it will be nice. Nice for you to get your cooking going again. And one of the reasons I like to cook, and call me paranoid, is because I like to know what goes into my food. When you're buying takeout or even if you're buying things that are canned or frozen, you never know what's gone into it to make it. At least when I cook my own meals, I know exactly what is in it. So, like I said, call me paranoid. But there are certain times where I don't want to cook, and I don't. For sure. But it will be good to make some real food. Android Lust says, sometimes I go into the kitchen and question myself. I do that too. I open the fridge and I think to myself, and I look at, and I'll stare in the fridge. Like, you open the fridge, you stare in the fridge, you're there for a good 2 or 3 minutes just staring in the fridge, looking around. Just to then to think to yourself, am I really hungry? Why am I looking in the fridge? I don't feel hungry. It just becomes a habit. So I get that, Android Lust. Sniper Girl says, some sort of noodle chicken in spinach and some sort of sauce. No, at least it's fuel. Food is fuel, and yeah. Sniper Girl says it's okay. Android Lost says, you like to cook, Phil, because of once a chef or no? Well, I wouldn't have become a chef if I didn't like to cook, so that is true. I do like to cook for myself and for friends and for family. I just don't like to do it professionally anymore. But there are times when I don't feel like cooking as well. So yeah, I do have those days where I'm lazy or I'm tired and I really just don't feel like cooking. So I do have those days. But you are right, I do like to cook, so I generally will cook. Just jumping back over to this other side here so I can get an idea as to what's going on here. Okay. I have to remind myself how I design something sometimes. I forget. Sometimes I forget. It looks to me like this seat might need to come forward. Again, I'm just trying to work out how much of an overhang I have going on the other side to compare it to this seat over here. Sniper Girl says, does that mean we're all invited out for dinner sometime? Or over for dinner? Yeah, if you guys are in Australia, I'll cook you dinner. If you're ever in the neighbourhood, for sure, I'll cook you dinner. It's a long way to go for dinner though. Unless you're coming this way anyway. Smokeberry says, like, half of my meals are just canned soup. Nothing wrong with canned soup either. Although, yeah, I like to make fresh soup, I have to admit. Particularly in winter. I always like to make fresh soup. Because I do like soup. Soup is really good for you too. It's something you can heat up all the time sort of thing, you know what I mean? So I generally, when I make soup, I make a huge... a huge saucepan, not a saucepan, but like this huge thing of soup, and that way I can just reheat it throughout the day whenever I feel like soup. You can freeze it even and reheat it that way in a microwave. So nothing wrong with soup. Euro says, old age going senile. Evening to you too, Euro. Did you miss the stream? Forget when it was starting, Euro. Sniper Girl says, hi to Euro, how have you been? Andrew Dust says, canned soup is the quick stuff. If it takes 10 plus minutes, I'm wondering why did I buy this? Well, canned soup, I mean, that's mega quick. Particularly if you've got a microwave, you zap that thing in the microwave and you're done in like, 2 minutes. I've never come across canned soup that I actually like, though, to be honest. They all taste a bit weird to me. They're either too salty or just the flavour. I can't get the flavour I actually like. Because I really like potato and leek soup. That's probably my favourite soup. The one that I make quite a lot. Andrew Lust says, hey, and Euro says to Sniper Girl, where's Sniper Girl's here and Euro? She's getting all settled into a new place. Sniper Girl says to me, we'll find a reason to go over. Smurpery says, immediately books tickets to Melbourne. Sniper Girl says, at home and computer is fully up and running and everything feels great. Well, like I said, I don't know how you survive, 3 to 4 months without a computer. It would drive me nuts. I love my PC too much. If I could not use it, I would go nuts. And using a phone is not the same thing. I mean, messing around on a phone to surf the web or whatever is just not the same. I mean, I need a computer. I really do. Euro says to Android Lost, hope your internet is getting better. Android Lost says it's not. Sniper Girl says to Euro, much better. Did speed test. Oh, nice. I actually forgot to ask what your internet was like, Sniper Girl. That's nice. 71 down, 6 up. Sweet. Sniper Girl says, not as good as net at work, but way better than my parents. Android Lust says, nice. It is nice. Euro says, I was jamming out to some fat beats baking textures. Then I looked at the clock. Okay. Jamming out to some fat beats. Sounds cool. Euro says, nice. I have 80-20 here in the North Pole, so yours ain't bad. No, it's not bad. 80-20 is pretty good too, Euro. All you guys with decent internet there, except for poor Android Lust. So let's all feel, let's remember poor Android Lust there because his internet's not great. I think it needs to come forward a little bit more. Just like. Jeez, that seems like a long way out though. Did I really pull it that far out? No, I don't. I think I'll pull it back a little bit from that. That seems excessive to me. I think if we are okay. See, now it can't come too far out because of this piece here that we're seeing. So again, I'm going to pull it back, maybe like that. That should work. But now we do have this problem with our curtain. So what we're going to have to do is tell me that I did not make these instances. No, thank God. We're going to have to pull these out as well. Now we're going to run into some problems here. I want to put a bed here. Yeah, that could be an issue. Sniper Girl says, was on 360p for ages. Android Lust says, feel for you, really do. Sorry, Sniper Girl says to Android Lust, feel for you, really do. And Euro says, bake came out perfect, first time for a coffee. Came out perfect first time and time for a coffee. My coffee does not leave my side. I drink coffee all day long. As soon as one cup of coffee is finished, I go and get another one. So I would probably drink probably 6 cups of coffee a day, probably. Which I don't know how great for you for your body that is, but bugger it. I love coffee too much. Sniper Girl says always a good thing. Android Dust says it's funny, my internet went from bad to good to unstable. At least for Twitch. Is that the way? Maybe it'll go back to good again though, Android Lust. Euro says it worked fine for anything else, Android Lust. Yeah, that's what I think Twitchy has a lot of problems with. Sniper Girl says, wow, that sucks. Did you call them? Android Lust says to Euro, using Mum set for baking? Asking Euro. Sniper Girl says, is it me or is your reading abilities worse than usual? No, there's nothing wrong with my reading abilities. I can read. I talk real good and I can read. What are you talking about? I have had a bit of a problem with one of my eyes, but anyway, we're not getting into that. Nero says, yeah, I mean, there's no other bakers, right? I talk real good and I can read real good too. How rude. Yeah, these curtains, they really have to come forward, but I want to put a bed in here, and I'm worried that we're not going to be able to get down beside the bed, because I can remove the collision on the curtain, which may be what I'll have to do. But let's see if we can't move this forward as much as possible without moving the curtain. And see, this is the problem now. I've got to move the curtain forward so that our shear doesn't intersect it. So I may just have to remove the collision on the curtain, I think. Which is fine. I mean, the curtain does not need collision. So let's do that right now. Before I forget, because you know I will. It has a simple collision, so I'm just going to remove the collision. We resave the object, and that way it won't interfere with us getting down there beside the bed. Yeah, Android Lost says to Euro, most of the time YouTube works perfect, rarely buffers. Sniper Girl says, nope, didn't call. I was thinking I don't need too much Twitch because it can distract me. Sniper Girl says to Android Lost, did you do a tracer to see how many pings it's jumping before reaching Twitch? Yeah, that's a good option. Yeah, you should just do a trace. Exactly what she just typed there with the IP address, or just with the Twitch URL, and that'll show you how many hops it takes to get to before it gets to actual Twitch, and how many milliseconds it's taking to get between each hop. Euro says, weird, have you tried a different browser in case it's a plugin? Sniper Girl says to Android Dust, would recommend checking it. Android Dust says, I usually use the Twitch app. Tried Firefox and Google, it's the same. Euro says, if it's Twitch only, I'd say have a word to your ISP, something's gone foobar. I would agree. I'd be complaining long and loud. Euro says, Sniper Girl says, if Twitch is the issue, should really see how many different pings takes before connecting to it. There you go, Sniper Girl has posted a YouTube on, if you're a Windows user, as to how to do that, which thank you, Sniper Girl. Android Lost says, one time my internet went to complete trash because a squirrel chewed through a line. That could be the case again, but that time nothing was usable. So that's the problem with the internet. You never know. You'd think if it was a problem like a squirrel chewing through your line, you're going to have a problem with every website you visit. They're all going to be slow or whatever. But if it's only happening on Twitch, then it's obviously a problem with the routing between your ISP and the Twitch servers. So that's more of an ISP problem. But yeah, do the tracer to see whether what the trace, how it's actually getting to Twitch. It's a good suggestion by Sniper Girl. I'm just going to move this down a little bit, I think. And then we have to decide whether we're going to put a panel piece in there. I think we will. I think what we'll do is I'm going to just make these a little smaller, which is good because it'll elongate our little triangles a little bit more, make them more in line with the ones on the wall on the other side. Let me just see if I'm lined up here properly. Yes. Let's copy one of these plain panel pieces. Over here. Needs to come forward a little bit more. I'm just going to scale it in a little bit because it's a bit wide. And so I want to make sure it's lined up correctly. I don't think there's anything else I need to put in the bay. I think the bay window, I think that's everything. Actually, no, that should be fine. Just going to jump again back over to the other side. Yeah, this one actually... Just this little gap here is what's bothering me at the moment. And that's basically because the cushion here is not as far forward on this side as it is on the other. I don't think we can move these panels back any further. No, not really. Which means the only other option is to pull the seat forward. Which means we need to pull these curtains forward as well. Now we do have this issue here now where the curtain's sitting away from the actual plinth, but I don't think during gameplay you're really going to notice that. It'll just look like the curtain's sitting on a rail in front of the wooden beam, so I think we'll be okay. We can probably get away with that. Whereas you're more likely to notice that problem here. You're less likely to notice it up here. So that's good. Alright, we'll say that the bay window is okay. Let's do a quick save so we don't lose what we've done. Now what I want to do is I want to copy I want to start copying some of the lighting around. So I don't want this light. This is a directional spotlight to mimic the outside because we have our sun over here. Because the window on the other side is not facing the sun, we don't want that light. But we do want these lights. These actually aren't lights, they're light mass portals. And we also want these spots. And that just lights the interior of the bay window. So let's duplicate these. Let's rotate it all 180 degrees. It's blowing a bit of a gale here outside. Yesterday it was the thunderstorm while I was streaming, and today it's like we had a lot of rain this morning and no thunderstorm, but blowing a gale. The wind is really strong. Oops, I'm still in the stairwell. We don't want to be in the stairwell, we want to be in the bedroom. Back in here. Euro says, upon closer inspection, I have 2 tiny imperfections in my bake. Gonna paint offset and hope it fixes it. Otherwise, I'll deal with it in substance. Euro says, don't want to use any geometry to get around it. Android Lot says, what are you baking, if you don't mind me asking? Euro says, infrastructure things, can't say more. Mysterious. Let's move these into the right spot. And I think they need to be dropped down a little bit. Bring them forward a little bit. Now I'm just going to make some small adjustments to make sure they are fitting correctly. Every time. Stop doing that. Okay. I'm also just going to check. I thought we had one of these lights was being hidden. We moved our cushions around, so our light here needs to be moved a little bit. I'm just going to turn lit mode back on too so I can see what's going on. A Euro asked Sniper Girl about the job, whether she's enjoying the job, and she says it's the first job that they honestly look forward to going to the next day, which is always nice. It's nice to enjoy what you do. Because you spend so long at work, it takes up so much of your life. You really want to enjoy it, if at all possible. I know not every, it's hard, easier said than done to say that, but you should try and find a job that you really like. That's how it's supposed to be, Android Lost says. That's right. Euro says, hopefully they keep the workload varied. Gets boring doing the mundane tasks all day. Those mundane tasks are important, though. Just because they're mundane doesn't mean they're important. They're not important. I might just knock this back a little bit. I don't want it quite so bright on this side, so let's knock it back. Let's try 1500. Might just check this one as well to see what this one is running at. That's not too bad. It's only at 200. And these are static lights. Hero says, yeah, but there's some stuff I just couldn't do all day, every day. Sniper Girl says, yeah and no. Working in ZBrush a lot. Oh, ZBrush. Making rocks. Can't get into detail, but yeah, hate rock modeling. Okay, let's go back into unlit mode. Let's do a quick save. Let me have a coffee. Alrighty, so now let's decide how we're going to start designing this room. Now the bits and pieces are in. I don't think there's anything else I need to bring over. No, I don't think so. Let's start with the bed. So let's pull the bed in. And again, I want it to be around the middle of the room. Let's push the bed back so it's sort of up against the back window. You see what I mean by not having a lot of room here? Actually, I think before we start putting too much furniture in, I just want to bring the lighting in for the windows as well. So we have a couple of options here. We're not going to have enough room for the player, because if the player comes this way, because we have to move the curtain forward, they're going to be running through the curtain. That's not going to look good. So I think what we might do is, see, initially I wanted to have side tables either side of the bed, but we're not going to be able to do that simply because there's not the room is not wide enough. So we can either move the bed over here, or we can move the bed over here. We pull it forward a bit, it's a bit too far back. So we can have the bed against that wall, which I don't actually like because I want to put a couple of things up here. So I think what we might do is move the bed off center over this way to discourage the player from wanting to get in there, and to encourage the player to go this way. Or we can move it back to the middle and I can just set up a blocking volume. Let's move it to the middle, we'll see how we go. But before I actually start setting this bed up, I want to copy these lights from down here. Including that spotlight, because I want the That's what sort of fakes the light shining, the light shaft coming through the window. I might just go into lit mode here as well so we can get to see what we're doing as we're doing it. Again, I'm just making sure that none of the lights are actually being hidden inside of some geometry. Okay, let's go back down. And let's copy the lights. I can't copy those lights, and actually I think one of these needs to be changed as well, this light mass importance volume. We just need to make some adjustments to that because it's made for a square window and we're moving it into like an arched window, so we want to scale it. Just having a bit of a problem saying it. Green. Okay, let's move it over a little bit. Need to make it a little bit bigger. And it needs to be a little bit higher, a bit taller. That should be good. Okay, now let's grab one of the lights from these windows, because these ones are arched windows, so we can just duplicate these.
She's got a taste of wanderlust, she's wanting more. She makes her way through foreign lands across the shores.
Let's go back into lit mode.
She lays her head down when she lands in Tokyo. There was something at home that she couldn't find. There was something on the road that made her come alive in Tokyo.
Then we should be able to just copy those to these other two windows as well. Again, let's just jump into lit mode so we can see what we're doing. Let's duplicate them one more time. Red Lost says the light build for this is going to take a day. It takes about 4 hours for me to do a rebuild on the lighting on this game level. I've done a few builds now, and generally it takes about 4 hours. So now let's turn lit mode back on. And these are static lights too, so it'll get baked down into the light map. Alright. That's our base lighting pretty much done for this room. Now we have to actually start adding the lighting, but let's work on the assets first. So back into unlit mode, let's do a quick save again. Those cushions look comfy, Euro says. They do, don't they? Big cushions, actually. They look a little large. Yeah, I think they look a bit big. When I'm looking at it in comparison to the bed, let me just run through the level here to make sure that my bed size is correct. They do. They do look big, don't they? I was just thinking the same thing. So I'm just making sure that the bed size is right. And I think the bed size is right. In comparison to the cushions, though, which do look quite large. So we might scale them back. I'm not sure why they are quite so large. Whoops. Probably a bit better. Let's put this bed together. So let's put the mattress down. Join Lato. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. I get usernames wrong all the time. Join Lato, thank you for following the channel. I do appreciate it. Guys, when you follow my Twitch channel. So thank you, Join Lato, for the follow. Remember to, if you do want to, join the Discord server. I've just popped a link in Twitch chat. There's a gallery where you can show off your work. There's tutorials and tips. There's a section where you can link to your ArtStation or your portfolio, all that sort of stuff. So whenever I'm not streaming, you can leave questions for me on the Discord server or just chat to the guys and girls on the Discord. Everyone's very friendly, very helpful. You don't have to, just an option. But welcome, Chine Lato. Yeah, I'm just making sure my mattress is in the right spot here. A dirty, dirty mattress. We actually covered up a lot of the dirt with the blanket. But let us put the curtains for the... Actually, before we put the curtain in, let's put the pillows in. We're going to start with this. Let's rotate it. Let's make a duplicate of that. And rotate it around, maybe rotate it up. Okay, let's bring this other cushion in. Shonalato says, I'm talking from Brazil. Nice to meet you, dude. Nice work in Unreal Engine. Sorry my English isn't so good. No problem, I can understand. Your English is very good, Shonalato. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing your name, though. My apologies if I'm getting your name wrong. But I'm terrible with everyone's username, not just yours, so don't feel it's just me. But welcome to Phil Does 3D. It's good to have you here. I stream live every Monday and Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the US. So if you want to catch me when I'm live again after today, it's Monday next week. Sniper Girl says, yeah, he gets my name wrong all the time. I do, and she's a mod. I get all your names wrong all the time. Let's duplicate this cushion. So yeah, I'm actually Chinalada. I'm working on a game that you can wishlist on Steam at the moment. So this is actually the bedroom for the game that I'm working on. Well, not just me, the game studio and I. The other guys in the studio and I. Android Lust says, have you ever thought of using physics for the pillows? Actually, it may not be a good idea. I have thought about it. But again, I may make some of these objects interactable in the game. So I could turn it into a physics object and throw it on the bed. I may make them interactable, in which case then the player will be able to pick them up and then put them back again, but it'll be placed when it's picked up and inspected and then put back. It goes back into the exact same spot that it left. So I think because I want to sort of control things a little bit more in the game, that's one of the reasons why I'm not making them into physics objects that I can just toss on the bed. It gives me a bit more artistic control anyway. Let's duplicate one of these again. And I don't mind doing this sort of work. I quite like fiddling around with cushions and pillows and things. I find it fun. I can get a grouping this way exactly the way I like to, the look of it exactly the way I like, as opposed to, pardon me, relying on physics to place it for me. Excuse me a sec, guys. Sorry about that. You said correctly my name? Oh good, Joan Lato. I'm glad. I'm glad I got someone's username right. Because it is unusual for me. I usually get them wrong. I'm going to just rotate these up a little bit more. At least this one I'll rotate up a little bit more. And move it up a little bit more. And move these ones forward a little bit more. And maybe move this one forward a little bit and move this one back a little bit. There we go. I just want a messy grouping for the pillows here. Let's just turn on lit mode so we can see what we've got going on. Okay, oops, I'm hitting the escape key. I'm thinking I'm in play mode. Let's pull the curtains in now for the bed. So we want this to be... No, that's the right way around. Good. You'll notice again... Android Lost says, yeah, using physics it won't be perfect fit. It may even throw the cushions on the floor. Sniper Girl says, and he gets my name wrong often, sad face. Android Lost says, it's beautiful in lit mode. Thank you, Android Lust. It'll get better though. We haven't actually done the lighting properly yet. We'll do that once we get a few more pieces of furniture in. So let's get these curtains placed in the right spot. I don't know if you call them, are they called curtains when they're on a bed? I guess they are. It's still a curtain, isn't it? Oh yeah, as I was saying, when I created this curtain material here, it's only polys on one side. The other side doesn't have polygons, but because we're using a two-sided material, we bake it that way. So we get half the polygons. Macrium, you're annoying me. We get half the polys, but you can't tell. Just got to make sure that's sitting on the ground. Let's pull that out just a little bit more. Smurfery says, I turned off all notifications because Macrium was bugging me. Stop being so insistent. I know, it's annoying, isn't it? It's so annoying. And if I click on it in the notification here, if I bring it up and click on it, it's going to start the update going. It automatically seems to start the auto updater, and I don't want it to do it while I'm streaming, so I'm just having to ignore it. I'll do it after the stream. I'll do the update after the stream. Let's duplicate this again, and we're actually going to be turning these assets into instances, but I'll do that again toward the end of the game level, not just at the moment. I'm just going to undo that and turn on angle snap. But yeah, all of the curtains here along the bed will be turned into hardware instances, so it's really only going to read the curtain into memory once, and the curtain is only one-sided, only got polys on one side, so... Actually, I think the curtains need to be in here. I thought to myself, what's going on? That's why it didn't look quite right. I designed it so the curtains are actually sitting behind this wooden plinth thing. Okay, for that one, it means we've got to move this one in. Geez, I only designed the bed a few weeks ago and I've already forgotten how it's supposed to go together. And I also want a curtain for the end of the bed. And again, let's rotate it 90 degrees. Move it forward. Put it in the middle of our bed. And let's turn on lit mode. Actually, let's just do a quick save all. John Lato says, I'm participating one project to revive one game cancelled, Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex. First Assault One Line, a fan group called Unreal Ghosts are recruiting 3D students, volunteers for help to Impulsion to create the project, and this project involves change of Gamebryo engine to UE4. Oh god, don't use Gamebryo, man. The guys will tell you I've used Gamebryo before. It is terrible. It's the worst engine I have ever used. Gamebryo, it's terrible. Use UE4. UE4 is very nice compared to Gamebryo, for sure. Don't use Gamebryo. Marcel says, hi Gramps. Hi to you too, Marcel. How are you, Marcel? Calling me Gramps. How rude. You young whippersnappers. That sounds like a really interesting project though, Chain Lato. Android Lost says, I remember hearing about the game Chain Lato. I didn't know it was cancelled, did I? And Smurfberry says, oh man, Gamebryo. Phil has opinions about Gamebryo. I certainly do. Cancelled on the 12th of the 6th, 2017. Chain Lato says, I missed the game so much, Android Lost. Ghost in the Shells was a great manga cartoon. Or anime, maybe you want to call it. I call it manga, but I think they call it anime now. I'm just something. Again, I'm just going to go into play mode here. I just want to check something. Just wondering, I need to pull back on the normal map on this curtain as well, but I'm just trying to work out whether the bed needs to be bigger. Von Buki, it's good to see you. Says, how random for a flying gas bottle to kill some poor young dude during last night's Sydney storm. I didn't hear about that. I haven't watched the news this morning though, Von Buki. Good to see you though, Bombuki. And Marcel, it's good to see you too. Even though you're calling me an old grandpa. That is random though. Flying gas bottle to kill someone. Wow. Yeah, because I've had these storms here in Melbourne and Sydney the last few days. Sniper Girl says yes, it was good anime, not a great movie. Oh no, yeah, the movie wasn't great, I agree. I saw the movie as well. But great anime. China Latte says, and here I am studying UE4 and seeing you're working. Well, that's what we're here for. If you've ever got any questions, China Latte, feel free to ask them in the chat. If I can help, I'm happy to try. Sniper Girl says, nice for school. Android Lust says, crazy storms there. Yes, there have been some really weird storms here in Melbourne, some really bad ones in Sydney and Melbourne. I shouldn't be going out here. I'm just sort of trying to judge size here, and I have a feeling the bed is a little bit small, so I'm just sort of, I shouldn't be doing this because I'm not supposed to leave that room. The guys at the game studio are going to start screaming at me, but I need to because I've got to judge size here. I really think the bed is a bit too small. Hard to say because when you're near it, it's fine. But I think it still could do with being a little bigger. So we're going to select the bed. Chine Latte says to Android Lust, unfortunately the game was cancelled because the developer Nexon did not listen to feedback from the player community about the problems. Well, that's never good if they don't listen to the feedback they're getting about problems. That's what feedback is for, to listen to the player. I thought that I created the bed to the right size, but I just do think it might be a little small. So I'm just going to scale it up a bit. We are going to have some problems getting the player to run beside the bed though if we go too big. So I'm just going to play again through the level here and we'll see what it's like. I think that might be better because I'm looking at the mattress as I run up to it, trying to remember how high my mattress on my bed is. That's a high mattress, but I don't think it's too high. I'm wondering now whether I should remove that curtain, but we'll wait till we get some more lights and we'll make a decision then. Because it is blocking the view of the window, and I do need to knock back the normal map on this fabric as well. In fact, I normally don't put a normal map on cloth, so I think what I might do here is I might just open up the shader for that. And I'm going to disconnect the normal map. Let's just play that again. That's better. Yeah, the fabric really does not need a normal map. So we can't get down that side now though. We can still get down this side. How much room do I have? I've got a tiny bit of room. I think I'm going to check the collision on this piece here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do here too is I'm going to remove the collision on this object. I don't think it needs to have collision because we're not going to be getting up there. Let's have a look again now. Now we can get down at least halfway down the bed. Not that there's probably really going to be a need for the player to actually run down here. But just in case I want to put something on the bed perhaps or whatever. And I just feel that the larger bed just fits better in the room. It's just a little bit small, looked a little small. Okay, let's do a save all. Android Lost says it's their choice to listen or not. They would be the first company to not listen. They wouldn't be the first company not to listen. That's true, Android Lost. They certainly wouldn't, and they probably won't be the last either. Okay, so what do we got here? We've made a good start. The walls are done, the floor is done. We got the bay window in, we got the bed in. We still have to do the lighting and stuff, of course. There's still more furniture that we need to bring in. But we're getting there, slowly but surely. Again, I'm just going to have a quick look at the shader on this fabric. It just looks a little too, I mean, it could be like a silk fabric. It's just maybe looking a little shiny to me. I think that's better. I think it was just looking too shiny. Unnecessarily shiny. So we're getting there. We'll start working on more pieces of furniture when I come back next week on Monday. But I think for now we might leave it there for today, guys and girls. I do want to thank you though all very much for hanging out with me and for watching and for being here. I do appreciate it. I want to thank China Lato for the follow. I will be back on Monday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific time. No problem. It was good to see you too, Sniper Girl. It was great to see you in the stream. I'm glad everything's going well, and I'm glad you're getting settled in your new place. China says exists alumni. I'm sorry, I can't read that. But it's good to see all you guys and girls, and thanks again for being here and for watching. I'll be back live again on Monday next week. You guys and girls have a great weekend and take care, and I hopefully will see you all again on Monday next week, 5 p.m. Pacific time. See you guys and girls.